Good morning, Pankhurst, and welcome to your first maths lesson this week. So today is the 1st of March 2021, and as you know, last week we started our new topic on fractions. So our learning objective today is, can I recognize a quarter? In today's lesson, we will be recapping our learning from year 2 so that we are able to recognize a quarter of shapes, objects, and quantities, and able to explore quarters using concrete and pictorial representations. So over here, I've got a lesson starter for you. And what I would like you to do is grab your whiteboard and pen or a piece of paper and a pencil and work through these questions. So pause my screen now and come back to my screen when you are ready. Great. So now these are your answers to your questions, and I will just go through them with you now. So question number 1 says, complete the sentence. 10 less than something is 496. And the answer should be 506. So what this question means is something take away 10, because we know less than is 10, gives you 496. So the best way to work this out is by doing the inverse. So you would do 496 add 10, which gives you 506. Okay, so well done if you got that right. The number 2 says 512 equals 500s plus 110 and 2 ones. So you should know your place. You should have used your place value knowledge for this. So if I do my place value grid here, 100, 10s and 1s, and I write down 512, then I know that there's 110 and 2 1s. Okay, well done if you got that correct. So number 3 says write the next number in the sequence. So if you look at, you should have worked this out by looking at what the pattern is. So from 0 to 200, I've added 200. 200 to 400, I've added another 200. Then I've added another 200 and another 200. So what do you think the next one would be? Fantastic. That would be 1,000. Yeah. So you should have been jumping up in 200s. That's what the pattern is showing. The number 4 says, what is 5 multiplied by 6? So we know that this question is asking us to do 5 times 6, which gives us 30. Fantastic for getting that correct as well. Now, guided practice number 1. It says complete the sentences. So have a look at this cake. Okay, now the whole cake is split into how many equal parts? Let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the cake is split into 4 equal parts. Now, what do you think each part is worth? What do you think each part is worth? Fantastic. So each part is worth a quarter. Because remember, half means 2 and quarter means 4. Now, how do you think this will be written using your fraction knowledge? Fantastic. It will be 1 over 4, which means quarter, 1 quarter. Great. Now, this is your guided practice number 2. Draw the shapes on your whiteboard and shade a quarter of each shape. Okay, pause the screen now and work this out, and then come back to my screen when you are ready. Great, fantastic. So now, if we know a quarter means basically 4 sections of a shape, it's telling you to shade a quarter. Yeah, so you should have been shading one in each. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4 is asked me to shade a quarter, so I would shade a quarter. Over here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 quarters make up one whole, but we only want to shade in 1 quarter. And same with here, 1 quarter, and same with here, 1 quarter. Okay. Fantastic if you got that correct. Now, guided practice number 3. Which pictures have 1 quarter shaded? Write the letters on your mini whiteboards, okay? Then you need to do the next step, which is which shapes do not have a quarter shaded? How do you know? All right, fantastic. So complete this guided practice on your mini whiteboard, then come back to my screen when you are ready. All right, fantastic. So now, remember we said when you are doing fractions, it's talking about equal parts. So you need to have the knowledge, you need to remember, and you need to observe whether your shape has equal parts or unequal parts. Okay. Now, if I look over here, I've got a circle and it is split into quarters equally. Okay, it's equal. So fantastic. That is correct. Now, if you look at, so if you've written A, it is correct. Now, if you look at my triangle here, I have 4 equal parts. So 4 equal parts means 4 quarters, and 1 has been shaded in, and that is correct. Now, over here, I have 4 parts, but are they equal? Have a look. Are they equal? No, because this part that's been shaded in, it's correct. 1 part out of 4 has been shaded, but it's not equal, which means that is not correct. Okay. Now let's look at D. I'm going to count my parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Think about that. Does that sound correct? Are there 5 parts in a quarter? No, there's 4. So you know that is not correct. Okay, so now it says which shapes do not have a quarter shaded. So we know C doesn't because it's unequal, and D doesn't because D has 5 equal parts, not 4. Now, can you draw the shapes again and split them into quarters correctly? So now if you can draw shapes C and D again and split them into quarters correctly. All right, fantastic. Now, I don't know why that is there because that shape's not on here, so ignore that. Okay, now this is correct. Now this is right. So now if I look at this circle and compare it to this circle, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts, which is correct because a quarter has 4 parts, and they're equal, whereas this is unequal. Okay, now if I look over here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts, and 1 is shaded in, which means that's correct. Okay, fantastic. Now, guided practice number 4. Rosie is folding 2 identical paper strips. I think 1 quarter of the strip will be bigger than half of the strip because 4 is bigger than 2. Do you agree with Rosie? Okay, or do you not? Pause the screen now and work it out. So now you should have used paper strips for it by yourself. So I'm going to show you. So now I've got 2. Let me So I've got two strips here. Okay, strip 1 and strip 2. Out of this strip, I'm going to make I'm going to make quarters. So I'm going to fold it once, which has given me half. Okay, then I'm going to fold it again, which has given me quarters. Now I'm just going to draw lines to show you. So that is 1/4. Okay, can you see? Fantastic. Now on my next strip, I'm going to do half. So I'm going to fold it in half. Half means 2 parts. So I've got 2 parts and I'm going to shade in half. So half. Can you see my screen? So there's half. So I've got half there and I've got 1/4 here. So let me show you this way. So I have 1/4 here. Yeah, can you see my 2 shaded bits? Fantastic. Now, after having a look at that, do you agree with Rosie or do you disagree? So Rosie said, I think 1/4 of the strip will be bigger than half of the strip because 4 is bigger than 2. Do you agree or disagree? And tell me why. All right, fantastic. Now, Rosie is not correct because when the whole is the same, 1/4 will always be smaller than 1/2. So when we say whole, we say, for example, if it's the same size and we split it in 4 sections, so 4 parts for 1/4, and then if we split it in half, yeah, half will always be bigger. Yeah, half will always be bigger because half is always more than 1/4. 1/4 will always give you a smaller number. Fantastic, year 3. Now, it's your turn. So now it's time for your independent task. I would like you to choose between activity 1, activity 2, and activity 3. Then you could challenge yourself with the challenge questions, okay? So for activity 1, you've got 2 questions. Okay, question 1 and question 2. Question 1 says, write the letters of the shapes that are split into 4 equal parts. So you need to check which ones are 4 equal parts. Okay. The number 2 says, draw the shapes and shade 1/4 of each of the shapes. So for question 1, you write down the letters for the ones that have 4 equal parts. Then for question number 2, you draw out these shapes and with the lines, and then you shade in 1/4. Activity number 2 says sort the shapes. So you have a selection of shapes down here and you need to sort them out between 1/4 and not 1/4. So for example, A is 1/4 because it's, A is not 1/4. A is not 1/4 because it's not equal parts. Okay? Yeah, so you need to make sure you split it correctly. So for example, G is 1/4 because I've got 4 equal parts and 1, so 4 equal parts, which means quarters, and I've shaded in 1, so that means that is 1/4. Okay? Now, activity number 3 says, which one is the odd one out and explain why. So from question 1, you need to check which one is the odd one out and then you explain why. With question number 2, you choose the odd one out and explain why. Okay? Then for your challenge, you've got these questions here. It says, to show 1/4, I will shade less than 4 triangles. Is just correct. Explain how you know. Then you need to color the picture to show 1/4. Over here it says each picture represents 1/4. Spot the mistake and explain your answer. Okay. Um, and yep, so that's your challenge. Now remember to upload your work onto Tapestry once you're done, Pankhurst. So all you need to do is rewind the video back to the activity that you will be doing and pause the screen on that activity. And I shall see you in your next session. Have a good day. Bye.